Hi everyone, it's me again, BigFriendlyWarGamer. I'm going to do a sit and paint again for about an hour, and we're painting probably my SPartan and various other things. My desk is still a mess because I haven't had time to sort it out, but we've got my Mortat still, who's still not undercoated. I haven't had time to undercoat him, been a bit busy. Got my 3 Knights for Titanicus, and my Warlord Titan, which again still isn't finished. I've got 3 Rampages for my World Eaters and 5 Tactical Marines. My Death Guards still sitting where they were last week. My SPartan, which is now all shaded and ready for its white layering. And the various parts for it as well. So we've got its top hatch with the heavy bolter that goes with it, the las cannons on the side doors, the engine and the engine mounts. And we've got something a bit new as well. So these guys are for Star Trek Attack Wing. That's the Defiant. This is a Bird of Prey for Klingons. And this one is a Katinga. Again, Klingons. Star Trek Attack Wing is a game I've been thinking about on and off for a while, and now that a few people at the club have shown a bit of interest, I thought, well, why not? And they're mostly pre-painted models, but they're doing a small range that aren't. So I wanted to give these a go to see what they paint up like. Probably won't touch them today, but they're just sitting on my desk because they haven't got anywhere else to go at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'll grab some medium. There's some in there. Grab my ceramite white, and I'm going to start work on this top plate bit for my SPartan, which is going to fall over because it's top heavy, and there's not really much I can do about it except for, yeah, let's put it on here instead. Might actually keep it upright. So I normally ramble on for about 20 minutes about how my week's gone and stuff like that. This week I went back to working more or less full time, so I'm working 3 days a week and 33 hours now a week, and it was okay. It was manageable. I got through it fairly comfortably. Could have done the Sunday. They wanted me to do the Sunday, and I was like, no, I'm happy doing my 3 days. I don't see why, just because I'm warehouse staff and whatever, that I should have to do 40 whatever hours when most other people don't. Right, so we're going to get some medium, and we're going to put some on our palette, because this ceramite white, I need to thin it down because I'm not going to be painting the white on the model. No, I haven't done any painting for probably about a week now. I think I painted last Wednesday, but I'm not sure. Was it Thursday? I can't remember. I haven't really done a lot, purely because I've been busy doing other things. So just coating a bit of medium onto that palette. I can go there. So yeah, I've been playing a bit of World of Warcraft again. It seems to take up a lot of time now, which is not a particularly great thing, but I'm going to think about cancelling my subscription of it at the end of the month, or I think I've got another month worth. It's just come out, so it'll be about the middle of November I'll be not playing it anymore, because it's a big distraction from what I should be doing. So as much as it's good for me, it's probably not too good for me. So we've got some cut up sponge, we've got a pair of tweezers, and we're going to do, I think I've shown before how I do my white. Get some on the brush, on the sponge, sorry, dab it on some tissue just to get most of it off, and then we're going to grab the armour panel and we're going to start stippling. And this is how I do my white. I'm pretty sure I've done this before on camera. Again, you don't want to go too harsh on it. Just do it nice and gently. Just bring out the white slowly. It needs multiple coats because it just does. It looks better with multiple coats. Again, every time you pick some paint up, just dab it onto your tissue and then work up the white. So yeah, so work was good, work was fine. My weekend consisted of I watched the football. United were actually good for most of the game, except Chelsea scored in the last minute against us to equalise the game. Frustrating, but what can you do? What I actually need to do is to bunch this sponge up a bit, because it's a bit too random at the moment. Just need to do a bit more directed stippling rather than just random. And then I watched the Grand Prix on Saturday, which Kimi Räikkönen won, which is good because I like Kimi Räikkönen. This blue tack's starting to become a bit useless, so I may have to replace it. But I didn't really do much else. I mean, that because of me working the extra day, I kind of rewarded myself with another model purchase, which I probably shouldn't have bought, but hey ho, it's money I've earned, so why not? This isn't actually coming out how I want it to come out. So what I'm going to do is switch that around and go to the broken end of the sponge. Pick up some paint again. I need to get a bit more into the recesses than I am getting. So yeah, I was at the club yesterday, played a game of 30k against a guy who's kind of learning the game, has a few games under his belt, so he's not brand new to the game. And that went very well as well. I've got my dice rolls have been, except for in some Blood Bowl games, my dice rolling has been really quite lucky of late, so I can't complain. So yeah, it was a good game. He enjoyed it, which is the main reason why I play games like this, because other people enjoy it, and I enjoyed it as well. So, right, this just isn't grabbing me at the moment. It's not doing what I want it to do. So let's get a bit more tissue. Not tissue. Sponge. It's just not hitting the target what I wanted to do, so that's a bit better. You need to get more of it on here so it builds up a decent white surface, because otherwise it ends up looking grey, and my world eaters are never going to be grey, they're going to be white. So now I need more paint. It's the one thing with this, if you're painting tanks with this sort of effect, it kind of drinks the paint quite a lot. This is only like the second tank, although I've painted dreadnoughts, but it's really the second tank that I've painted with this technique. The other one was my Sicaran, which I had on my desk last week, which is probably my favourite tank that Games Workshop have produced model wise. It just looks fantastic. So unfortunately that palette is now pretty much dry, so I'm going to get some more medium and do the same thing again, because there's no way that's not enough white. The top hatch I'm not too worried about because I'm going to be painting that blue. This thing here I'm not sure, but the main armour needs to be white. So some more medium, more ceramite white. And the thing is with this technique as well, because of the fact that the paint's going onto a sponge and then onto the model, it's practically no drying time. So your second coat can go straight after the first. So I'm calling that the first coat, which is it's looking okay. Not exactly like I'd do it, but I have to keep reminding myself, which is something that I think at some point all painters have to do. It's not the stage by stage that you need to make perfect. It's the end result. But even the end result, as long as you're happy with it, then it's fine. So let's just fold that up a bit. I'm going to use that to paint now. And unfortunately with this, it's quite a messy process, so you do end up with paint all over your hands, but it don't matter, it washes off. It's not toxic or anything like that, it's fine. Just wash your hands normally and it'll come off fine. So yeah, I was talking last week about, I think it was last week or the week before, about catching up with YouTube stuff. I haven't been watching much YouTube purely because I've been busy with work or I've been busy doing other stuff. And to be honest, that's still true. I mean, I've got a fair amount of stuff that I haven't actually watched. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to get to. It's just, there's continuous content coming out. I mean, someone was talking to me at the club about Mini Wargaming's battle reports of late, and I'm like, I really haven't sat and watched any. I just haven't had the time. I mean, I'm doing my painting now, so obviously I can't have a video going on in the background while I'm rambling into a camera. That sponge is just a bit rubbish. What I need is a bigger bit of sponge. So yeah, so I haven't been watching Mini Wargaming stuff, and it's come to mind that I could let my Vault membership lapse a bit. Like I know it won't be for a while because it's my Vault membership come out in May, I think it was, but I'm not getting through their content like I used to. Like most of the time before, when it was 6th and 7th edition, I was watching most 40k battle reports, all the 30k stuff. The 30k stuff I still like, I still watch if I can, and some of the fantasy stuff, the old fantasy stuff. And I just find I'm not watching hardly any of it anymore. Even like stuff like Guerrilla Military games, I don't have time to catch much of. I just don't have the time. It's like, so at some point I've got to edit my own stuff as well. I've still got the battle report from a couple of weeks ago with my mate Scotty that I've got to edit. Some of it's done, the video's made up, it's just I want to put stuff in like turn numbers and the introductions to the turns, that kind of thing. I've still got to do that, but the game as it is actually done. It like I said, it just needs a bit of editing, which I'm still going to do because I want to teach myself how to do this. I've been getting some advice online about how to do video editing, and it's something that I'm thinking about as maybe a possible career change, doing something like that, because it's something that I'm like I could enjoy doing as a job, you know, because you get to watch this content that you're going to edit, and generally speaking, if it's stuff that you're interested in, then it's it should be of interest to you. So yeah, it's something I'm thinking about. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Right, so I think that's about. It's not exactly where I want it. There's still too much of the recess that's not the colour that I want. So that's why I'm doing it like this now. I'm just pushing the sponge a little bit further into the recesses. All I'm trying to do is, rather than take the actual grey away from the recesses, is just lighten the grey with the white. Keeps coming off this little cork thing that I've got, which is a little bit annoying, but yeah, when I played 30k yesterday, I used my world eaters. I changed the list up. I didn't bring my usual thing with Angron and Red Butchers in a SPartan and Murder Squad, that kind of thing. I tried some new things, and it works quite well. So I was quite happy with that. Right, so that bit I'm going to have to come back to, because I need to get further into the recesses. With this sponge, I might as well make a start on the actual SPartan itself, but I need to clear some space because I need to have it lying on my desk. So let's clear that, have it there. You can pretty much see it now. See the SPartan, so get some more paint on the sponge. Now I've got a certain way that I paint my World Eater tanks. Well, I haven't, because I've only painted one really. This is my second one, but they have like a blue striping on them. So in the recess bit here, and on the nose of the tank, it'll be dark blue. In fact, I'm actually, because I was using my Legion Glaive yesterday, and it's actually a lot more painted than I thought it was. Like I said, I've been running the same list for quite a while, so when I actually got the Glaive out, the Glaive's my super heavy tank. I was actually quite surprised at how far I'd painted it. I didn't remember painting to that far, so that was nice. At some point I'll get around to finishing it. Sometime this year, hopefully, I'll finish it. But this thing, this is a model that I use quite a lot. And to be honest, it needed painting, it needed finishing. And I've been getting, see, the camera's gonna be wobbling while I'm doing this, so I'm trying to brace the desk with my legs, which isn't too bad. But if you see some camera wobble, I'm sorry, it's just what happens when I'm sponging. Not spooning, sponging. So obviously once this tank's painted white, I've got to paint the tracks, got to do the dark blue details, then it's not far off being done. I mean, I go round and I get all the rivets in silver, because it just breaks the white of the tank up a lot. This doesn't look how I would actually like it to look, but like I said, it's not the in-between result you're going for, it's the end result. And with this white, it will build up layers. I'm actually painting the gun shields blue as well, these bits here, because if I make it fully white, it will look a bit weird. So I'll probably do some more blue on it, some more blue detailing. Like I said, the engine block's blue, so I don't want it being fully blue, but some of the details won't hurt. And again, we're going to load up the white, and what I'll probably do is I'll paint this side with the white. That's Necron compound, that's not my medium. paint that side with the white, go over it and do the second coat, and then I'll move on to maybe doing a bit on the Warlord. So I'm going to show you how I do hazard striping, which it's kind of a cheat, but it's my way of doing it, so it doesn't matter. Anything that gets I've got to actually check this. There's ways to cheat in the hobby, and it isn't cheating as such. It's just making things easier for yourself. Some people would call that hacks, some would call it cheating, but if it means you get finished models, then it's not such a bad thing. Just cleaning this brush off. This is a really old brush now. I just used to scoop paint out onto palette. I mean, it's not even holding its shape anymore, so it's fine. I'm just going to turn that foam around as well. Get a nice clean bit of foam. And we're going to start again. Let's start with some white again. And this time we're going to go a little bit slower. Just get a bit more of the detail. We're not getting really far into the recess. But the panels themselves, the actual flat bits, are getting a full white coat now. I mean, there'll be bits that later on I'll look at and I'll be like, yeah, I've got to do that bit again and stuff like that. I'm actually painting the interior of the gun thing blue, probably not. Having to brace the desk again. So I'm actually, like, it's the afternoon or early evening today. It's what, 4:30 now? Yeah, it's spot on 4:30. I wanted to do this earlier, but I've been looking after my nephews all day. We've just been playing PlayStation, playing Call of Duty mostly. I introduced one of my nephews to Street Fighter, which I don't think he was too taken with it, but it's fine. Just a bit of a laugh, but yeah, we've just been playing Call of Duty, and it's just because there's 3 of us rather than 2. The survival things would be awesome if you could play 3 players, and for some reason you can't. You can only put 2 in it, so we're just doing literally free-for-alls, and it just gets boring. So that's really all we've done, all morning, all day, whatever. But I was actually itching to get. I really wanted to get this video done today because I wanted to start painting, because I've been aware that I've been a bit slack of late, and it's just other things get in the way. What can you do? And I was considering doing a video while my nephews were here. One of them is starting to get into the hobby, but I don't know if he's really that bothered about it. And it's fine if he's not. I mean, I wouldn't want to push something on him he's not really interested in. They love the idea of being on a YouTube video, and I think they would act up quite a lot. So maybe it's probably not the best thing if I did one of these with them on it. And obviously I wouldn't be able to talk like this because I talk very frank in my YouTube videos. Don't really hold back, and I swear if I want to. I don't swear around them because I'm generally quite good. Do catch myself every now and then, but not very often. So just going to turn this round a bit so I can get a different angle on it. Yeah, I think that gun shield is going to be painted blue. this foam is just not staying in the position I want it to stay in. Probably too big a bit in the tweezers, but there you go. But yeah, he's my oldest nephew. He started collecting Space Marines. I think it's more through the fact that it's Space Marines that I've bought him than an army he wants. But you know, we all started this hobby somewhere, didn't we? And where I started that 40k Conquest magazine, I've got my Death Guard there, and I'm saving the Space Marines for him. Like, he's already got a small Space Marine force because I bought him it for his birthday, and now he's got like a full Intercessor squad, Space Marine lieutenant, quite a big Reaver squad, and all that. So his army's coming on slowly, and the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest will he'll have a full army in the space of a year and a bit. It might give him enough time to mature into the hobby, I don't know, but we'll see. He's been to my club once and he seemed to enjoy himself, so it's just about introducing people to new people. Let's break that up because I need a smaller bit of foam now. This is literally drinking the paint, and like I said, I've got paint all over my hands, so yeah, the paint's dry again. I have to get some more. This is one of the things with painting like this is you get through you empty your palette so quickly, and it's fine. I mean, it's to be expected, but it could be a little bit frustrating, especially if you're not used to actually painting like this. Which for me, when I started, it was I found it frustrating because I'm used to sitting and painting with the same paint for 20-30 minutes at a time, and obviously that doesn't happen with this, so it's fine. Again, just some medium into the little palette, and you can probably see from the camera angle that the white's building up now. It's not quite to the stage that I want it at, so I'll keep going with it. Like, this isn't a quick method of painting white. There's much quicker ways, but you don't get the pure white that I'm after. So I would rather do it like this, and like I said, it'll take forever, but it will look pretty good when it's done. I mean, I've had compliments about how I paint white and how it looks, so I must be doing something okay. Actually, I think I need some tougher sponge because this sponge is a bit lame. I've got a big bag of sponge, so I might just go through there and get some better stuff out. It's all the stuff that's come out of model cases, so it's the pre-pluck foam. This stuff is the old Games Workshop stuff. There's some from a company called Gift for Geeks that I've got in there, which is quite a lot better for doing stippling, but I think I'm really low on it. I don't think I've got a lot of it left, so I may have to buy another tray of foam and just pluck it all out. Oh, what the pluck? Right, so that's going to be roughly about the first layer. There's a bit there that I'm really not happy about. It's almost like a black line. I need to dull that down somehow. I may have to take a brush to it later. It's basically where the medium's settled and it's left like a black line. But I might take a paintbrush to it and just go over it with some white a bit later. This does give it a very like almost stone look, the white, which I quite like, which is why I'm doing it. But what I might as well do is finish this white up that's on my palette now. I know you won't be able to see this now, but I'm just going over some other bits. So yeah, the Blood Bowl League that I'm running at the club has more or less run its course now. It's everyone's played their 5 games except for like 1 or 2 people. So I decided to bring the cup forward a week. So I finished in 3rd place in the league. So I'm playing the person that finished 2nd, which he actually beat me for my last game. My last game of 5, he actually beat me. So I think it was my last game anyway. So it'll be kind of a grudge rematch. I'm hoping that my luck hasn't totally abandoned me in Blood Bowl, because just of late my luck's been quite bad. So I need to get my thinking head back on again, rather than my murder stuff head, which is what my Minotaur brings on, I'm afraid. Right, that bit of foam's done. I'm just going to grab this one, just curl it a little bit, just so I can get a bit of a point. That way round. Come on, that's it. I'm just basically doing this now till I've finished up this white that I've got on my palette. It won't be much more. So yeah, so I'm playing the Dark Elf team for my semi-finals. The idea is that it's going to be a semi-finals and then a final and a 3rd, 4th playoff. The 3rd, 4th playoff is because there's winnings involved, which people can add to their next season team. Like, people have found it quite hard to follow how I'm doing the league, but I think it's quite straightforward. So you can buy back your existing players, and when you finish the league, once the cup's finished, you get bonuses for stuff your team's done and most casualties and stuff like that, and you get to carry that with you to your next team. So for example, I'm playing a Chaos team called Carrot Crushers, and I could next season decide, no, I'm going to start a dwarf team, and I would carry, I'd have the 1,000,000 credits for the actual starter team, plus any credits that I've carried over from my current team. So obviously I wouldn't be able to buy players from my current team because different race, and I wouldn't carry any of the other value stuff over, but I would carry any winnings I've got currently would go over with me. And some people would say that would give people who've won a league an advantage, and people who have won the cups would get an advantage. And in a way, yes. In another way, they have to roll on the table to see if they have any of their money stolen. And I'm going to try and encourage people to not use, if you've done well, to not use the same team. which shouldn't be a problem. The people that have done well have already said about looking at new teams. I'm looking at probably using one of my existing teams. So I've got dwarfs, humans, orcs and Skaven, so I don't have to go about buying one. Right, so that's the white on that side done. I will give it another going over. As you can see, you might not be able to see very well, but it's looking okay. What I'm going to do now is, now I've got white paint all over my hands, I'm just going to take a quick break and just wash my hands off. Right, I'm back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the SPartan to one side for a little bit, because leaving that white to dry, which doesn't take long for it to dry, to be honest. But I'll go back onto the las cannons. And basically all I've got to do is tidy up the black. Now I'm still running really low on black. I haven't been anywhere to get any new paint, and basically that pot is now dead. So I'm just going to pinch, let me have a look, hold on. Yeah, when I started getting this conquest, there's some paints that come in with it as well, so I'm pinching the black out of it. Even though I was going to give it to my nephew, I'm pretty sure he's got a black already. That seems to be very, very thick for a black, but okay. So as usual, a bit of water, just dampen the brush, stick some on the palette. And basically all I'm going to do with this is, where I painted the silver last week, I'm going to tidy up the black, and the scanners on top, for some reason I painted them blue and they shouldn't be blue, they should be black, so I'm going to repaint that black. And then these are more or less done. I know I've got some wiring to do, but that shouldn't take too long. We've got our grade 1 brush. It seems to be my go-to brush at the moment. It's my brush that kind of does a bit of everything. Just applying this to the targeter on top. I accidentally painted it blue, and my other tank has black targeters, so I want all of the vehicles to kind of look uniform. So the targets are all going to be the same. The markings on them are all going to be kind of similar. They won't be identical because they're different kinds of tanks and stuff, but I want them more or less the same. And now it's just covering up all the silver bits that I spilled over, because last week I wasn't very neat when I was painting silver, because you don't need to be, because you're going to cover it back up with black. So I don't know if you've been following me, then you'll know I've started a blog for my Reaver Titan, and it's 2 weeks gone now. It's at a stage where I'm basically, everything's cleaned up of it now. I need to start building it. I've already built some little assembly parts, so like for example the structure of the legs and stuff like that. But I think I'm gonna start with the cockpit, the head. Basically all that includes is the 3 crew, the little monitor on the inside of the Titan's head, and then some wires. Once I've got that assembled, I'm probably just going to paint it. I've got an idea of how I'm going to do my paint scheme for my Titan already. It's going to be quite a lot like the Warlord, which is that guy there, which I don't think you can see on camera at the moment, but you've seen it before loads of times. So yeah, because it's the same Titan Legion, so it's going to be painted red, quite deep red, with has stripes on the shoulders, on one of the shoulders and on the lower leg. I may switch it up a bit from that Warlord, because like even in the same Legion the Titans don't all have the same markings. So I may do, instead of the actual leg greave, I may make one of the knee pads has stripes. The head's going to be quite straightforward. Painting the crew will be like painting any other Games Workshop model. It's just 28mm scale guys. A little bit of detail, it'll be fine. The console inside will be quite simple as well. And then yeah, painting the actual outer head. It should be cool. I mean, it'll be a new experience painting a model that size. I mean, I've painted large models before. I've painted dragons before. I've painted like super heavy tanks, knights and stuff. But this is on a totally different scale. This is really big. But I think it will. Like, I'm quite. I know myself that I don't see things through. I don't complete projects. I make promises and don't fulfill them sometimes, as my commissions will attest to. Because I've still got that Space Wolf commission, for example, which I need to get done, and I need to get out of my room. I need to get him finished. It's one model. I just need to get it done. And then I'm done with commissions. That's it. I've got no more. I don't intend to take on any more. As much as like I could maybe do it as a job, like it takes too much away from my hobby. So no more commissions. We painted all my own stuff from now on. I've got enough of it to paint, you know what I mean? So I shouldn't be taking on other people's stuff when I've got all my own stuff to do. One thing that I still want to do that I didn't while I had the house to myself, because I was busy doing other things, is I want to do a little video blog of how much I painted this year. Get it all out on the table, see it all in person, if you know what I mean. Because I've only seen it like in pictures on YouTube, on Facebook. So I'm not put it all together in one place. So it should be quite cool. Whether I get time to actually do that, I don't know. But we'll see. I could do it one of my work days, but it'd be a bit rushed. So now I'm working Thursday to Saturday, so I'm working 3 days, and I think that's quite enough. I mean, I still don't understand why, just because I'm a guy who works in a warehouse, that I'm expected to work a 48-hour week instead of a 37-hour week. So I'm on 36 at the moment. I have an hour deducted a day for my lunch break, so I'm on 33 hours a week, and I'm quite happy at doing that. That's enough, you know. I don't see why I have to break my back and work ridiculous amount of hours just because I work a 4 and 4 off shift. Well, not that I do, but most warehouses do now. Most warehouses doing what I do are working 4 and 4 off, and I just feel it's companies exploiting their staff a little bit too much, because for the fact that you work an average of a 42-hour week, so you're working, I don't know, 7 hours a week more than most office staff. Like, you're not rewarded for it. You're not paid like the equivalent of that more than office staff, and yeah, I don't see why I should have to. Like, I'm quite happy just doing my 30 something hours. Like I've said before, for me the be all and end all isn't money. I need to be happy in what I do, because I've gone for too long not being happy, and it's got to be the reason why I do things now. I've got to make myself happier than going into warehouse and working my arse off and coming home and then sleeping all my days off because I'm so tired. And yeah, I've got to stop doing that. It's not what I want to do. I mean, yeah, I could push myself if I want to earn a bit more money. I could, but I don't, so I'm not going to. And so I'm all about making plans at the moment. I've started doing my walking again on Sundays. I was a little bit short of my 10,000 steps this Sunday just gone, but only by about 600. And going to try and make a plan for the next 2 years. Now, long-term plans I find aren't always good because you kind of forget them. But this one I'm not going to forget, and it's on video, so you can all bitch slap me if I don't fulfill it. I want to get out of warehousing, properly out of it, because it's not what I want to do anymore. I mean, it was always supposed to be a stopgap thing until I discovered what I wanted to do. I never did that. So for the next 2 years, I'm going to be pushing myself a bit more to learn something different. And just to get out of doing this sort of work, the sort of work that's going to end up me freezing my arse off every Christmas, every winter. It's going to make me ache from head to toe all the time. Like, I see people online, like some of my friends and all that, are saying about how they push themselves to go to the gym. And yeah, they don't want to go, but they push themselves, and I'm like, these people are people who generally work in offices, don't do physical jobs, and in a way don't really understand where I'm coming from. So I don't bother arguing when they say about, oh, there's no excuse. The fact that you're exhausted, you're aching, is perfectly reasonable as to why you don't go to the gym. and quite frankly, why I'm a bit fat. Simple as that. Because I am, don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm not a little skinny guy, am I? So there we go. But anyway, got myself way off target now. I'll go back to talking about painting. So painting and wargaming stuff. After my game yesterday, we had a bit of an incident. A friend of mine dropped a piece of my glaive, my super heavy tank, and it's got the same weapons as this. It's quad las cannons, practically identical, and it kind of shattered a little bit. So my glaive currently doesn't have all 4 las cannons available. All 2 sponsons. One of them is missing bits. So I'm going to have to try and find a way of getting them. I mean, I'm pretty sure that no one's going to have spares, because the SPartans, the super heavy tanks, they all come with these quad las cannons, and you can swap them out for laser destroyers, but there's no models for laser destroyers, so everyone has quad las cannons on their tanks. So it means that no one's got an extra set, no one that I can think of anyway. So it might be down to me buying another thing and seeing what I can do. I suppose I could kit bash a set of laser destroyers, but I wouldn't even know where to start with them, to be fair. No idea what laser destroyers would look like. And to be fair, they're not good enough over the quad las cannons to be replaced, so I wouldn't bother. So yeah, so we're coming up to about my hour, or we've hit about my hour, I'm not sure. I want to get these quad las cannons finished before I actually log out and start uploading the stuff. Start uploading the video and that. Like I said, I've got my Reaver Titan blog, and it's just basically it's me talking about what I've done for the day, and it's not a everyday thing. I'm not able to do it every day because I've got other commitments, but it's generally every other day. I haven't done anything on my Reaver Titan today because of having my nephews here, so I may put the paintbrush down for a little bit and just assemble some bits so I can do another little bit of a blog. I'm trying to spend like half hour to an hour a day on it, so it doesn't get overwhelming, it doesn't become this all-engrossing thing, but it's slowly getting there. And I know I said I would like to use it in a game come the end of November. There's no pressure if I don't. I'll just use my regular army, that's not a problem. But we'll see. I mean, the points wise, in 30k a Reaver Titan is a lot less points than in 40k. In 40k they've pushed it to such a scale that it's not, you really shouldn't use it unless you're playing Apocalypse games. In 30k you probably shouldn't, but you generally play slightly larger games in 30k than you do in 40k. So for example, the game that I played yesterday was 3,000 points, which is what your average game of 30k is, about 3,000 points. Yeah, with 40k your average game is like 2,000, so it's I prefer 30k to 40k at the moment. As much as I am trying to push myself to play 40k, it's just not grabbing my interest as much as 30k does. So, and this is after I've decided I agreed to partner a friend of mine in a doubles tournament sometime probably next year in 40k, but that's next year. Got a whole load of models to get painted before then, and I will. Like if I get this tank finished, which it won't get finished today, but it will be model number 202. And people are saying, well, you could cheat that and use this as one of my one of my large models, and it is a big model, don't get me wrong, but it's not one that I'm gonna put in my list of three big things that I've painted. So I've still got that to come yet, but one of them will probably be my Lord of Skulls, which isn't far away from being finished, so at some point I've got to break that out again and yeah. So that's the last cannon more or less done. Just got a little bit more black to do, and these are the sponsons more or less finished then. Like I said, little details, painting the lens of the targeter, painting the rivets, highlighting the black. That's about it. So yeah, it's coming on fairly well. And it'd be nice to get this finished. I've been badgered for a while about getting my SPartan painted, so I've been using it base coated. I've been using it base coated, but right. So that's that, and I'm going to call the video there. Again, as usual, thank you very much for listening and watching and listening to me ramble rubbish. I'm going to do a little giveaway thing. It's going to be a model that I've had sitting around for quite a while and I probably won't use. So just keep listening, keep watching. I will put a little announcement up probably next week about it, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.